She had heard the name whispered across star systems, carried on the trembling voices of warriors who had survived battles they should have lost, spoke of a human fighter whose presence turned the tide of impossible wars. They spoke of a man who walked through devastation as if he were its master. They spoke of a legend named Ray, did not consider himself a legend. He had never sought fame or fear. He was simply a soldier shaped by battles that had stripped him of illusions he believed in survival, in duty, and in the quiet promise that humans deserved a place in a galaxy that often dismissed them. Yet, the galaxy had a strange way of elevating those who did not seek a throne. Across the vapor-lit halls of the Verne Dominion, a young envoy named Lyra stood before a great projection map, her hands shaking. The glowing symbols marked the edges of contested territory where ambush has happened without warning. Ray's name pulsed on the map, attached to reports of raids, skirmishes, rescues, and impossible victories. She had never met him yet. She trembled at the very mention of him. Lyra belonged to a species known for logic and cold precision. They rarely feared anything, but Ray was something else. He forced the Dominion to reconsider every assumption they held about humans to them. Humans were new, unpredictable, driven by emotion. Ray embodied all of that. Amplified, the council members murmured. He moves like a phantom, no pattern to his attacks. He saves colonies that should be abandoned. He is dangerous because he cares. Lyra listened to every word. She clutched her datapad and swallowed, wondering what kind of being could force an empire to rewrite battle strategy. She was assigned to find him, observe him, and understand what drove him. Her mission was not meant to be hostile yet. She knew the risk approaching someone feared across systems was never safe. Ray's ship, a vanguard, drifted above a barren moon, scarred by ancient craters. He stood on the bridge, watching fragments of dust swirl against the endless night. His armor was worn, patched with mismatched plates from battles long past. Nothing about him looked like the monster the Dominion described. He was tall, yes, and strong in a hardened way, but his eyes carried something the legends never mentioned. They carried weariness, loss, a quiet hope that he refused to let die. Lyra's small diplomatic craft approached the vanguard under a white flag signal. Ray immediately sensed the tension. His crew, a mix of humans and allied species, prepared defensive stances. Ray raised a hand. Stand down, let her speak. Lyra stepped onto the vanguard's deck, trying to hide the tremor in her voice. Ray stood before her, calm as still water. She realized at once that he was not the terrifying storm painted by Dominion propaganda, but she also sensed an intensity beneath the surface, like a star on the edge of collapse or explosion. "You're Ray," she said. It was not a question. He nodded once. "And you're trembling." Lyra stiffened. "I am not. You are." Ray said. He didn't smile. He was simply observant. She took a slow breath. "My council sent me to speak with you." "I guessed," Ray said. "They want to understand why I fight." Lyra blinked. "How did you know that?" "Because nobody comes to me unless they want something hard to explain." She studied him, noting the calm way he carried himself. He did not radiate arrogance, carried strength the way a steady flame carried heat, present, constant, undeniable. "I've heard the stories about you," Lyra said. "Everyone has. They say you never lose. They say aliens fear you." Ray exhaled softly. "Stories exaggerate. I lose plenty. I just don't stay down." Lyra did not know how to reply her. Her own people valued perfect efficiency. Ray valued persistence. Idea confused her, but it also fascinated her. They sat in the briefing room where a hologram projected a broken moon and drifting wreckage. Ray explained. This moon was once home to a small research colony. They were caught in a crossfire they had nothing to do with. I arrived too late to save most of them. Now I stop battles like this before they start. That's why I fight." Lyra expected anger or vengeance in his voice. Instead, she heard steady grief. It made her heart tighten. But you're feared because you're unstoppable, she said. Ray shook his head. I'm feared because I don't quit. That scares those who want easy victories. Humans fight differently. We adapt, push back, we survive what others consider impossible. His words echoed in the room. For the first time in her life, Lyra understood why her people trembled at his name, not because he was a monster, but because he represented the one thing empires could not control: human resilience. Their meeting was interrupted by alarms. The Dominion warship Draken dropped from hyperspace. Weapons hot. Lyra's eyes widened. They weren't supposed to follow me. Ray sighed. They always do. Still trust your counsel too much. Ray moved with sharp purpose. He ordered his crew to shield the envoy ship and prepare evasive flight. The Draken's captain demanded Lyra's surrender. Ray refused in that moment. Lyra realized Ray would protect her. Even though she came from the Empire that painted him as a threat, why defend me? Lyra whispered. Ray's reply was simple. Because you came in peace. Because you chose to talk instead of fight. Because that matters. The Draken opened fire. Ray drove the Vanguard in a sweeping arc, angling its shield to absorb the first barrage. The ship trembled, panels sparked. Yet Ray stood firm. He moved with instinct, reading battle patterns before they formed. To Lyra, it looked as if he danced with danger. The fight was uneven. The Vanguard was smaller, lighter, weaker, but in Ray's hands, it became a blade instead of a shield. He struck where the Draken least expected. He decoyed their targeting locks. He lured them into debris fields. Every move defied logic. Every maneuver made Lyra's breath catch. Doing the impossible, she whispered to herself. Her fear of him transformed into awe. The Draken's captain grew desperate. He aimed for a direct hit. Ray countered with a single calculated dive. The Vanguard slipped beneath the larger ship and released an electromagnetic pulse. Draken's lights flickered. Its weapons died. Its engines stalled. Ray disabled a warship 10 times the Vanguard's size. Lyra stared at him as if seeing a new kind of being. He sent a calm message to the Draken. Stand down. You fired on a diplomatic envoy. You violated your own codes. His voice carried no rage, only authority. The Draken retreated. Silence returned. Lyra looked at Ray with a mix of fear, gratitude, and something deeper. He had protected her without hesitation. He had risked everything for peace. She realized then that the galaxy did not fear Ray because he was destructive. It feared him because he was unshakably human, and because beings like him shaped futures. After the battle, Lyra approached him. Your people follow you with absolute trust. Why? Ray shrugged. They know I'll bleed before I let them down. Trust comes from action, not rank. Lyra nodded slowly. Then she asked the question she had carried since she first saw his name. What drives you? Ray, what keeps you fighting when any other soldier would have stopped long ago? Ray looked out at the stars. Someone has to show the galaxy that humans are not easy prey. Someone has to prove we deserve our place here. I fight so the next human child who grows up under alien suns won't feel small. I fight so fear of humans turns into respect. And I fight because if we don't stand up for ourselves, nobody else will. His words rang like truth carved into steel. Lyra bowed her head. I think I understand now. You are feared because you refuse to bow, because you rise after every fall, because you carry hope like a weapon. Ray glanced at her. Hope is the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. Empires don't know how to fight it. Days passed as the Vanguard escorted Lyra back to neutral space. She watched Ray trained his crew. He encouraged them, pushed them, reminded them that their lives mattered. His presence lifted them. He fought not with domination, but with conviction, and conviction inspired even those who feared him before departing. Lyra approached Ray one last time. I will tell my council what I learned, she said. They will know the truth about you, not the propaganda, not the fear, the truth. Ray nodded. Tell them humans want peace, but we won't kneel for it. Tell them we fight because we must, and tell them fear is a poor foundation for any future. Lyra hesitated. You changed my view of your species. I no longer tremble at your name. I respect it. Ray smiled faintly for the first time. And this mission wasn't a waste. When Lyra returned to the Dominion, her report spread quietly. It challenged long-held assumptions. Some leaders tried to silence it, others sought to understand her words whispered through the Empire words about the human who fought like a storm, the human who shielded even his enemies when he believed it was right, the human who turned fear into respect and across the stars. Ray continued his path, one battle at a time, one rescue at a time, one act of courage at a time. He did not fight for glory, he fought for the message, his presence carved into every warship that faced him. Humans endure, humans adapt, humans rise. Legends of Ray grew, not from fear, but from the unbreakable truth. He embodied a truth that echoed through the galaxy, a truth that Lyra carried back to her people, a truth that reshaped the future.